Hello and welcome back. This is our first episode using our new podcast name, the Chip and Charge Tennis Podcast, Kyle. And also our first podcast of 2025, our last one, obviously, before Christmas. So Christmas has been a good and New Year. How's it been, Kyle?
Yeah, it's been really great. Honestly, had a long, night. As much as everyone else, obviously New Year's big day. Yesterday, and a lot of family came over. It was my brother's birthday as well. So, a lot of a lot of things was going on yesterday, Nick. But yeah, it was a really great time. Had a lot of fun. Just
Yeah.
chilling with family. How's yours?
Yeah, it was good. And we've also got today a lot of stuff to cover. We've got our overall 2025 predictions coming up, and also our Brisbane Hong Kong predictions, and some news that's been going on in the off season leading up to the tennis season. Obviously, the tennis season has already started before the new year. It's just going back every time, every year. But yeah, we'll start with our intro quiz, our Brisbane themed intro quiz. And Carl, do you want to start with your question?
Alright, so my first question is: seeing that Nick Kyrgios is back in action, I don't want to start on the best topic, but it's the one that a lot of people would be listening to, the entertainment side of it, which is how much money do you think Nick Kyrgios has been fined in his whole career? Seeing that he started up again, hopefully he won't get too many fines, matured as a man, but looking at his history, how much do you think he's been fined in his career?
Okay. My question is, how many times has Djokovic played the Brisbane tournament, and what year was the last time he played? We'll reveal those answers in our next podcast. So if you think you know the answer, or you want to let us know, then if you got the answer, then do let us know on the links down below in the podcast description, show notes. We'll be back after this with our news that's been going on over the off season. Okay, and starting off with Carlos Alcaraz, he's made a new addition to his team. He's hired the former coach of Pablo Camilo Busta, Samuel Lopez, to join his team. Of course, he's still going to be coached by Juan Carlos Ferrero, and Juan Carlos Ferrero is going to be the lead coach in that partnership. But Alcaraz has hired Samuel Lopez. I think there's been lots of news in the Alcaraz camp of changes to his serve, specifically that take back. We'll have to see in the Australian Open what it's looking like, but I think perhaps the former coach of Pablo Camilo, Samuel Lopez, has joined the camp to help out on this change to Alcaraz's serve. Kyle.
Yeah, maybe it will help. There's a lot of factors to go into getting a whole new coach. The dynamic could change a little bit. Sometimes you think it's better to have that long-term coach that, that you really, like and work well with, and adding another one can be hard, like struggle to get used to. But, overall, I think if it's good for his game, and he made the decision to add him to the team, and it helps, obviously, the serves might be different, might not do particularly extremely well at the beginning if he's still practicing it and learning, obviously getting better, but eventually after, a few months or so of doing it and practicing it, it could be even better than it was before. So yeah, good decision, I think.
And also we've heard the news that Leighton Hewitt's son, 16-year-old Cruz Hewitt, has been awarded a wild card into the Australian Open qualifying at 16 years old. Of course, we've seen him helping out in the Davis Cup Australian team with the of the back in November and December with that team, with Leighton Hewitt obviously being the captain. So yeah, I think Cruz Hewitt obviously getting a huge opportunity because of who his dad is. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he can do in the wild card in the qualifying draw, considering he's a wild card, and see what whether he's going to be the next Leighton Hewitt car.
Yeah, it's obviously a very, big name to come from. Obviously his dad was such an incredible player, winning, really helping his country in Australia and doing so much for the sport there. But, you don't want to put too much pressure on him. You want to see what he can do. If he's getting a wild card, we'll see exactly how he plays and what he's going to be doing with his tennis throughout the years and how good he is right now. But yeah, I think honestly it's going to be great to see the next Hewitt, take on take on the tennis world and really do as best as he can. So yeah, overall, I think he's getting a great opportunity, and hopefully he can, use it to the best of his ability.
Yeah, and as it's New Year's Day here, of course, 2025 coming ahead for us, the next year of the tennis season. We're going to bring you our overall 2025 predictions next. We're going to start with our predicting top 20 for the end of 2025, the top 20 ATP singles for the end of 2025. We're going to start with number 20 and then work our way down obviously to world number 1 at the end of 2025. This is our predictions. Obviously it'll be interesting to see at the end of next year how this has changed, whether we've got many right. But we'll start with 20. For me, Kyle, I've gone with Jakub Mensik.
I've gone with Arthur Fils.
And then I've gone for Flavio Cobolli at number 19.
On Pericard.
18, I've gone for Yuri Lehechka.
18, I've gone TFO.
17, Ugo Humbert.
17, Musetti.
16, I've gone for Musetti.
Yeah, I've gone for Shelton.
15th, I've gone for Holger Rune.
15th, I've gone for Draper.
14th, I've gone for Dimitrov.
14th, I've gone for Rune.
13th, Djokovic.
13th, Ugo Humbert.
12th, Paul.
12th, Paul as well.
11th, Rudd.
11th, Tsitsipas.
10th, Thomas Mahach.
10th, Dimitrov.
9th, Rublev.
9th, Dimignon.
8th, Fils.
8th, Rublev.
7th, Draper.
7th, Djokovic.
6th, Medvedev.
6th, Rudd.
5th, Fritz.
5th, Medvedev.
4th, de Minaur.
4th, Fritz.
3rd, Zverev.
3rd, Alcaraz.
2nd, Alcaraz.
2nd, Zverev.
1st, Sinner.
1st, Sinner.
Yeah, I mean, we've both gone for Sinner, but I think we've had a vary of, I've got more of the the new next gen at the top, Draper and Fils.
Yeah.
But obviously you've gone for Petri Pericard in there as well, and Shelton. I didn't go for them. Your Australian Open winner of 2025, Carl.
My AO winner of 2025 is Sinner, I think.
Yeah, I've gone for Sinner as well. Obviously, we're going to be bringing our Australian Open preview podcast, and obviously that might change depending on the draw. But yeah, I've gone for Sinner too. I think on hard courts he's pretty much unstoppable at the moment. Roland Garros, Carl, who have you gone for?
I'm going for Alcaraz.
Yeah, I've gone for Alexander Zverev.
Okay.
I just
Different.
think he's done. Obviously did so well last year, getting to the final. It's between him and Alcaraz really, but I think Alcaraz obviously. I mean, yeah, it's tough, but I've gone for Zverev. I think he's gonna get a Grand Slam this year.
Yeah.
And then Wimbledon, who have you gone for?
I've gone Sinner for Wimbledon. I'm going for big names here at the top.
I've gone for Alcaraz to get 3 in a row. I just think he's he's proved that he's good on grass. I don't think Sinner's yet done that.
Okay.
But the US Open, I've gone for Sinner.
US, I've actually gone for either Fritz or Zverev. I couldn't pick between them. I wanted one of them to win so badly. I'll probably say Zverev, just because he could be at the top and Fritz might lose to someone. It just matters about the draws so much. But I think if Zverev was to play Fritz, maybe Fritz would win. But, I think Zverev overall should get a slam this year as well.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Obviously, US Open, Fritz, crowd favourite. He did so well last year as well. Moving on to the next category, first-time title winners in 2025. I've got quite a range of players here. Who have you got, Kyle?
I've got Struff. Well, it's just Struff for mine. I don't know if too many other people will get it, but I think Struff is the main person who I've definitely got to win a title this year. First time.
He won one last year, though, didn't he?
Did he?
He won one in Munich.
Oh, has he?
Yeah,
No,
but
you say
I think
yours.
he's a good shout though. I think I've gone for Thomas Mahach, Hamad Medjedovic,
Uh,
Flavio Cabulli, Matteo Anardi, and Jakub Mensik.
okay, yeah,
Um,
my second pick was Mensik as well because I was thinking it's either Striff or
mm,
Mensik, but if Striff's only won one this year, I think Mensik's the definite top pick because I think that he should be winning should be winning these titles.
yeah, I mean, there's so many upcoming players that are going to be so dominant in 2025. I think it's going to be interesting, to see who qualifies for the ATP finals too. Um,
Mm,
have you gone for a first-time Grand Slam winner? Well, we know you have. We've both gone for Zverev.
exactly, there you go, Zoe.
I th- yeah, I, yeah, I think I think he's played very well this year, Zverev, and I think he just needs to improve against the very top players in the world, and I think he can do that. And if a draw opens up as well, then that it's going to be good for him. And we both know the answer to will Djokovic win his 25th. We've both gone for no. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think obviously I think he's got Murray to add a fresh perspective, but I think I agree with you. I think he's sort of lost motivation a bit. I think. And then the
Mm.
ATP Finals winner of 2025, Carl.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Sinner again. Honestly, I think overall, if nothing happens with all this drug stuff, I think, and he keeps going throughout the entire season, this whole 2025 season, I think, man, I think he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. Like no one is gonna stop him too much, especially on hard, as we've talked about. So yeah, I don't think Djokovic will get his 25th. No, and I think Sinner will be the ATP finalist winner.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Sinner's gonna win it as well, as long as that, like you say, the WADA appeal doesn't, isn't successful. I think that's the only thing that could possibly stop Sinner, the way he's playing at the moment. And then most titles in 2025. Who have you gone for, and how many?
Oh, how many? Mate, I don't know if I've got how many. I need to think about that. But I have got Sinner again for the most titles.
I've got Sinner
But
too.
like, how many have you got for him to win?
I've gone for 7. This year he won 8, so I've gone for I don't
Okay.
think he can. It's gonna be tough for him to replicate this year.
Mm.
Yeah,
To be fair, I think that he actually might get more, if not the same. Only because I think that he's really going to want to fight for, firstly to stay in playing the ATP. If one of the thing does go through, and if more people start to like him, if he gets more dominant, I think that it'll be harder for them to, you know, or for harder for the judge or whoever's ruling the decision is going to be harder for if Sin is actually winning. It's going to be harder for them to take him out. But I think that he's gonna really buckle down. I think this year, and I feel that especially with everything that's going on, Alcaraz new coach, Djokovic also new coach, Zverev, people are looking to him, that he might be able to get a slam or something. I think that Sin is going to really push it this year. So I might say 8 again.
mm,
But yes, you never know.
yeah. I think I've gone for 7 because I think the year he's had this year is one of the best ever. It's gonna be tough to
Mm.
replicate, but yeah, we'll see in 2025. We'll see how these predictions played out at the end of next year. It's always interesting to see what we predicted and how it's changed over the course of the year. But yeah, of course, we've got the tournaments this week going on in Brisbane and Hong Kong, and I think we should just start in Brisbane, Carl, because obviously most of the action's going on there with the big names. We've got Djokovic and Kyrgios playing doubles together. They won their first match before losing their second. They won their first 10-8 in the match tiebreak, and then they lost, obviously, their second 10-8 in the match tiebreak as well. I think, I think they were going into that, I think, perhaps wanting some match practice for the Australian Open. I think maybe wanting, Kyrgios wanting, extra matches, obviously before going into a Grand Slam. Obviously, hasn't played in 18 months. And I think overall, it's good that they didn't, pull out or retire, because we see many singles pairings, that obviously big name singles pairings, partnering together and then pulling out after the first or second round. So I think it's good that they played the tournament to the end. And yeah, I mean, obviously they didn't only got to the second round, but they lost to a good pair. So I think, yeah, this Djokovic-Kyrgios partnership. What do you think? What did you make of it?
I liked it. Yeah, they were really positive. I think they really liked each other. It's been like a good bond. With both of them. Obviously, seeing that Djokovic and Kyrgios haven't played too many times against each other. Overall, they played in I think 2022 ATP finals, and obviously the Wimbledon moment that everyone must have seen. But yeah, I think for them to come back and have a partnership and really work well together, I think to get through the first round, and then obviously singles as well for Djokovic is going strong. Um, as well, not so much for Kyrgios, but overall, I think it's a great start for these guys, and we don't know how good Nick Kyrgios is going to do in Australia, but it's obviously his home tournament as well. So I think he's going to put a little bit more of a show, and I'm definitely going to be one to watch that one match. The first round especially, but overall the partnership and doubles pairing those two, I think, like, as you're saying, I think it worked quite well, and yeah, he looked good, honestly.
Yeah, and on Kyrgios' singles campaign, obviously he lost in the first round to Giovanni and Petri Pericard in 3 tie-break sets, 52 total aces. I think the match kind of that we were expecting, two massive servers, but I think Giovanni and Petri Pericard proved that he's got more than a big serve. He was playing, obviously there was no breaks in this match. But yeah, I think he played well against, Kyrgios. Obviously, Kyrgios, I think he was pumped up with the crowd. Obviously, his first match back in Australia. And I think Giovanni Petrovic has to take some credit for this match, Carl.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why I really did put him up, into the top 20, because in my leaderboard, because I thought that if he works on his other parts of his game, because his serve is really at the peak, I think, of what he can do, even though he's so young. Obviously, like getting to the not as old as these well experienced players. I think that he's really got something in him that if he practices his game, on the breaks, and if he can get as good as, Djokovic's return or something like that, which is extremely hard, obviously, if you've worked so hard in your serve throughout your whole junior or whatever career. But I think if he focuses on that in training and everything and puts it into practice in tournaments, he can be a very, very strong player. So yeah, looking forward to what he can produce, and yeah, it just shows that he's got a uphill career already starting in 2025, being Kyrgios already first round.
Yeah, and I think on Kyrgios, obviously his first match back in 18 months. I think the problem for him was that he didn't have that much match practice. In the tightest moments. In the obviously in that third set tie break, I think he sort of crumbled a bit, and I think on some break points that he had on some points where he could have taken the match from Giovanni and Petri Perigard on his serve. I think maybe the fact that he hasn't had too many matches recently, could be the loss of him, obviously, in this match. And I think perhaps, obviously it could play a part in the Australian Open as well. Obviously, only having one match in the last 2 years around that, it's different to just playing tennis. You can play tennis as much as you want, but then if you're actually on that match court against a player, when fighting for points, fighting for prize money, it's completely different, adds a complete different perspective. And I think perhaps the fact that he hasn't, experienced too many of those tight moments affected him here, and it could possibly affect him in the Australian Open too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, honestly, we just have to see what he can produce here. I think he's going to get even more pumped, even more up for it, especially in the AO. But yeah, I think Nick Kyrgios coming through. It's going to be a extremely exciting match. Whoever he plays, whatever happens, he's going to make it a match for everyone to come and watch. Honestly, if you're there, it'll be such a privilege to go and watch that. So yeah, honestly, if commentating and seeing what he can do on the match of Aya and what he can produce is just going to be huge. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for that moment and see how good he can be in those pressure points, overall.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see his draw as well in the Australian Open, obviously being a wild card.
Yeah.
He hasn't actually got a ranking, so yeah, it'd be interesting. See how it goes. We'll keep you informed on our Australian Open preview podcast. And of course, Djokovic is also in the Brisbane for singles draw. He won his first match as the number 1 seed against Rinky Hijikata. He looks in pretty good form, Kyle. I think he spent 10 days over the off season with Andy Murray, training. Training with Andy Murray in the off season for Djokovic, and I mean, obviously it's his first match back in a while since Shanghai, and I think he, beating Rinky Shikata 6-3, 6-3 in pretty good form overall.
Yeah. We're gonna go through some of the predictions.
Djokovic. Wait, what? What happened there?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go for the predictions then.
All right, let's go through predictions. So, semi-finals from semis, right? Okay, so I've got Djokovic to play Tiafoe.
I've got Djokovic to play Giovanni and Petri Pericard.
Ooh, okay. And I've got
I've got
Lehechka to play
Lehechka
Dimitrov.
Yeah.
Alright, finals, I've got Djokovic and
Djokovic and
Lehechka.
Dimitrov. I've got Djokovic and Dimitrov final.
What happened to all that, confidence with Lehechka last season, yeah?
Yeah, it could be Lehechka, but I think Dimitrov's, we know he plays well in Brisbane, so it'll be interesting to see there.
Okay, fair enough. For the winner, I have actually got Djokovic, and it would give him so much confidence coming back to the season if he wins the tournament. So, and obviously seeing from that first match he played, I do think that he can win this tournament, and it's as much as a practice tournament, for him as well. I think he's consistent no matter where he plays. So, yeah, he's definitely got the level to win this.
I think Djokovic's going to come through as well. Like you say, I think he needs to win a tournament, get back into the rhythm of winning a tournament. Going all of the 5 matches, winning it. Yeah, I think obviously he's got Monfils in his next match, Carl. I think the head-to-head something like 20-0 or something, very one-sided in the favour of Djokovic. But yeah, obviously Tiafoe against Giovanni and Petri Pericard as well. Opelka against Arnaldi, Jarry Lehechka. It's a good tournament in Brisbane overall. There's lots of big names there trying to get practice before the Australian Open in a tournament, in an ATP tournament. So yeah, it's definitely one of the best and one of the biggest 250s at the moment, Carl.
Yeah, exactly. I can definitely see it from the level, obviously just having Djokovic in there just puts it up so exponentially. Obviously, also Tiafoe, Dimitrov, Lehechka, all these people, and obviously the upcomings like, Petr Pericard, so I think that is top level 250 and could even be a 1000, with the level that these players are playing at. Just because you don't have Sinner and Alcaraz doesn't mean that the tournament isn't extremely good, and whatever tennis they're playing is going to be at the highest level. So yeah, I think that all these players have got a great chance of getting through, and Djokovic statistically, should win this, but you never know with some of the level that he's come out with, after winning the Olympics last year. I think he hasn't done too much, but yeah, I think it would be really good for him to get back into the groove.
It will make the Australian Open even more interesting. Before we go into our Hong Kong preview and predictions, we're just going to tell you quickly about Alien Pros. We've partnered with Alien Pros so that you can use our code NO.1TP at checkout for 15% off all Alien Pros products. They offer a wide range of designer grips with unique and creative styles. So if you're bored of the bog standard black or white grip, then this is the only company for you. It's a variety of ingenious grip styles. And you can also use them for many other racket sports. They're also highly absorbent, anti-slip, highly flexible, cushioned, and they're also soft and comfortable in your hands. And they're also highly durable and good for the environment as they're non-toxic and biodegradable, as well as being very easy to apply. They're also very low prices, so with our 15% off, if you use the code NO.1TP, then obviously it's basically a steal for these brilliant designer grips. Simply head to the Alien Pros global store, the tennis store, and pick up your favourite grip style. There's many to choose from at the checkout. Use the code NO.1TP to access that 15% off all products. It's an unmissable deal, really. But yeah, we should move on to our Hong Kong tournament now, Carl. Obviously, Norrie coming back after obviously having injuries since the Olympics. Really, he's in good form through to the quarters, as well as Fils. This is a kind of a theme where Giovanni and Petri Pericard doing well in Brisbane, and of course Fils as well doing well in Hong Kong. We've been talking about it a lot last year. Obviously, at the end of last year, that the newcomers, the next gen players are doing extremely well, and they're just continuing this form into 2025, Carl.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want to see from the level at these young guys. Honestly, I think that if they can produce something this good at this young age and this level, I think that no one knows where they can go, how high they can get. Honestly, because these young guys, if they just keep focusing and stuff, the next generation of tennis players can be really something to see. Because honestly, with Pericard and all these young guys, Feast and stuff, they're already looking like they're top players. Like getting into top 20, even with our predictions at the highest level, it's strong from them. And if they can put it into tournaments like this, like Brisbane and whatnot, and even Hong Kong, and going into AO, doing the best they can, I think that there's a lot to see, and there's a lot to watch out for, especially because these guys come up, that they can be dangerous. They can be really, really, really dangerous.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly. But what do you think about
it
all
makes
this?
for some dark horses, I think, at the Australian Open. Feast, Draper, Giovanni and Petri Pericard, Musetti, Shelton. There's so many players there that could cause the big names problems. If they get into some rhythm, get a few matches under their belt at the Australian Open, and then obviously they're going to be in good confidence after the off season. Obviously, it's always interesting to see the players coming back after the off season. Did any changes to the game? Obviously, we've heard that Alcaraz, as we say, is going to be changing his serve, so that's going to be interesting to see. Interesting to see how it affects the rest of his game, how it affects that serve, how it affects his numbers on the serve. So yeah, I think there's lots of players to be looking out for at the beginning of this year. And yeah, we'll be letting you know if there's any changes to many of the players in our upcoming podcasts. But yeah, should we get into our predictions for the Hong Kong tournament, Carl? From the semi-final stage, who's your first semi?
Yeah, let's go. All right, so for Hong Kong, China, I've got Rublev and
I've gone for
Nakashima.
Rublev against Norrie.
Okay. I've also gone for Feast against Musetti.
I agree. I've gone for Feast and Musetti, two upcomers. Who have you got in the final, Carl?
All right, in the final, I have Nakashima and Musetti.
And so you've gone for a Rublev upset then? Okay, I've gone for Rublev against Feast. Completely different there. And who have you got to win?
Yeah, exactly. But I have actually got Musetti to win the tournament.
I've got Feast to win. Yeah.
Feast. That's fair. Yeah, against Rublev, I think that it's definitely possible. Obviously, with how Rublev's playing and all this. But, so yeah, I think good predictions.
Be interesting
honestly.
to see, and obviously the winner of that obviously is going to go into the Australian Open with lots of confidence. There's also been tennis going on in the United Cup, in obviously Perth and in Sydney. The semi-finals, the USA obviously against who's in the semis? USA against, that's to be decided, and then obviously in the other semi-finals, Kazakhstan got to the semis against not yet known. The quarterfinals are going to be taking place tomorrow. So yeah, stick around for us to we'll let you know that. I think we've got enough time, Carl, to play a quick game. I've got clues for a tennis player. You have to try and guess who the player is. After every clue, you have to try and guess who it is. Do you want to try that?
After every clue, I've got to try.
Okay, so this person was born on the 8th of August 2000.
8th of August 2000. That would make him 24.
Yeah. Do you want me to give you another clue?
Yeah, man, I'm not going to know just
he turned pro in 2017.
So, he Tampere 7 years ago. So Tampere at
No, Temper
19.
at
Okay.
17. Temper at 17.
What?
He was born to his career high
Yeah, sorry,
ranking
17.
is world number 6. He's not
Yeah.
at world number 6 now though. He's won 5 singles titles.
Okay.
Do you want to try and give a guess? I've got some more. I've got some more clues. Okay.
But no, I'm trying to guess. Let me try
No.
and guess. Is it Fritz? Oh, wait, sorry. His world highest ranking was 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so it can't be Fritz, because Fritz is higher
If
than that
you're
now.
playing along and you think you know who it is, let us know. Go to our email address in the show notes, or let us know on social media. All the links in the show notes. It is Aliassime. Yeah.
Is it Aliassime? Oh, I'm actually the goat. I'm actually so good.
And of course, he shares a birthday with Federer,
Oh,
8th
wow.
of August. My next clue was
Yeah, I remember that.
his
Yeah.
best Grand Slam was at the US Open semi-finals.
Okay, I wouldn't have known that one. That wouldn't have helped me.
Adidas clothes. That would have quite helped.
I think.
But yeah, that's great after 4.
Yeah, I think if you said thanks, mate. I think if you said he was from
that would have
Canada,
been too obvious.
it would have helped me.
Let us know if you got it after 4. I think that's going to be pretty tough to do. But if you did, then let us know. We'll be interested. And obviously, make sure to be here next week. We'll be obviously reviewing the events in the United Cup, Brisbane, Hong Kong, and looking ahead to Adelaide and, of course, the Australian Open. Please let us know what you think of our name change, the Chip and Charge Tennis Podcast now. Of course, go and check out all of our social medias in the show notes, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, or X now. And of course, please do rate this show on whatever platform you're listening. It would be very, very grateful if you could rate it, obviously 5 stars, and maybe leave a comment if possible. But most importantly, make sure to be here next week. But for now, that's a goodbye from the Chip and Charge Tennis Podcast.